Good morning, sweethearts. How y'all doing? I'm doing good. Happy Friday. Happy Venus Day. I'm actually painting. Would you like to see? I'm painting a scene of a cave. Actually, when I went through the Garden of the Gods and traveled through the Canyon of the Ancients back in October of 2016, there was a cave there, and so that's what I'm trying to paint. So, how are y'all doing? How's things going? Now that the eclipse energies have started to integrate, now comes the release and the purging. You know, the lens of perception is changing in each of you. Good morning, sweetheart. How you doing, Jenny? And so, as we go into this weekend, you're really going to find the purging is going to be presenting itself with this new awareness, with this new perception. Good morning, Casey. How you doing, sweetheart? We're going to find that which we, in many instances, especially in your interpersonal relationships, that which you thought was real, was true, is now presenting itself through a new lens of perception to maybe be more delusionistic, if you will. Good morning, Michelle Barat. Big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. And so, this is really where mercy and forgiveness really comes in right now, as the delusions reveal themselves, as the illusion. See where I said the difference there? The delusion and the illusion. They're very similar, but have very distinct characteristics in and of themselves. Aside from some spiritual flu symptoms, I am well, thank you. That's great. Flu, frequency light upgrades. and know at this time that many sweet ones their physical vessels are not able to handle these upgrades in frequency light encoded filaments that are presenting themselves, and this is where we really hold space and the intent with our prayers and healing being sent to be for their highest soul's evolution, their highest good. It is really helpful for us all to keep that in mind when we are sending healing, when we are sending prayers, that sometimes when we do that with it not being for the highest intent of their soul and the highest soul's intent of all, that we interfere with free will. And many in our spiritual communities we are finding are going through some of these circumstances. And sweethearts, as we send these prayers and these healings, let us really include the intent for that being's highest good. Because, even if they're in a coma or experiencing heart problems or this, that, or the other, it just could be that they are transcending, if you will. And so it's not necessarily meaning that they are in need of healing per se, if you will. It's really helpful to understand through this process, sweethearts, we're coming into a space where there is a separation of worlds, of dimensional timelines, dimensional frequencies. Now, with the planet moving into a new harmonic octave, moving into the Andromedan multi-sun galaxy, if you will, that took place, you're going to find more and more on your news feeds, more and more in your physical presence, in your spiritual groups, are going to seemingly get less and less in your presence. Now, there are many aspects of ourselves that have chosen not to ascend in this ascension cycle. Now, just because people seemingly transition in what seems to be a physical death, sweethearts, doesn't necessarily mean that's what's occurring. You know, nobody is being left behind. Everybody is awakening and ascending per their own soul's evolution, even for those who have not chosen to this particular ascension cycle. You know, maybe their soul has chosen the next ascension cycle in 130,000 years, and you will discover that you will be here for that one as well. You know, we're the first and the last for a purpose. It's something we do all the time. We help many other star races and star galaxies through their ascension cycles as well. As we go through this month and we truly light up the 5D grid in the physical plane of existence, that which we have done the work within, the grid lines, the gatekeepers, the ley line workers, this, that, and the other. You know, all of us have done the inner work. That inner work is now transforming and morphing onto the physical plane of existence. And with that comes the falling away or transitioning of many. There are many that will appear to die a physical death. You know, some of us will be going back to our home bases to start on another mission somewhere else. Many of you will stay here on the New Jerusalem and continue rebuilding and returning the physical plane of existence back to its original state of being, its original blueprint, if you will. Casey, I'm a little tired and sick right now, but my heart is open and welcome to receiving and listening and growing deeper. And that's how many are feeling. Truly, that's how many are feeling, Casey. It's okay to feel that way. You know, really pamper yourselves through this. Drink lots of water with citrus in it, sweethearts, if you can, because water will help flow these light encoded filaments that are now bathing this planet since the total lunar eclipse, and the grounding in the water will help it flow and anchor into the electromagnetic and geomagnetic fields of the New Jerusalem grid, if you will. And Bharat, feeling two types of energy. One is positive, that making me feel happy and light, and in between raising my anger, keeping my head heavy. You know, this is really where you have to, this is really where it's necessary that we have to, you know, it's a soul's choice. When I sit there and say you must or you have to, I'm not telling you what you need to do. When I say that, I'm looking at, you know, to get to your desired soul wishes, if you will. Because really, we share one soul. And that soul's wish, that soul's desire, what that soul aspires to be, is peaceful, joyful, harmonious. And so the basic desire for each one of us is peace, love, joy, abundance, harmony, unity, community. And that's where we're going. And within, that's where we're at. And now it's manifesting for us on this physical plane of existence. And so as we go further through this month, and this is where the passion to live again is really being ignited right now. This is where that surge of energy comes in, and that lack of self-confidence comes in, and that fear subsides about being around other people's energy, where Bharat just sit there and stated that, you know, part of me is really happy and part of me gets the anger arises. You know, that's part of the transformation we're going through. There's a lot that is being revealed. Even if you don't focus on the media, even if we don't listen to the radio or to the news or this, that, and the other, a lot is being revealed because the blinders the blindfolds, the blinders, the rose-colored glasses, the veils, whatever label you really want to give it, sweethearts, has been fully removed, even in those that have chosen not to awaken. And so we're conduits. And so a lot of the anger that's coming up is not necessarily yours, but it is yours. You know, we're conduits for the karmic energy held within the planet. We just chose to be the conduits and to experience it for her, if you will. Shawnee, knowing this, absolutely. Good morning, Mary. Shawnee, who else did I miss? Amin, Ada, Des, Karen, Michelle. Big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. I love you guys. And so, you know, this is where really what will help all of us stay centered in our peaceful hearts is really say yes to everything. And what I mean by that is, yes, I feel angry right now. It's okay. Yes, I don't like what that person's doing, but it's okay. I accept it. All these thoughts that are popping into your heads. And this is where meditation, you know, stillness of the mind, because we've moved into the harmonic frequency where your thought process and your mind, not your brain, your mind, is surrendering. It has died, and therefore all these thoughts that are presenting itself, that's where you just sit there really and no. That thought has no meaning. You know, just because you have a thought, like Snoopy right now, look at him. He's sitting there burrowing in the blanket on the chair. And, you know, you have a thought, oh, that's cute, or what is he doing that for? Or that's kind of weird. You know, or I don't like that person, or ooh, that person is. Or the second you get those thoughts aren't real. Those thoughts have no meaning. They're a thought. Reality and what you define as real is only real once you attach thought to it. And so all these negative thoughts that are coming up, all these lower vibrational thoughts that are popping into your heads, all of that is literally part of the mastery of mastering yourself. The mastering of your mastery throughout this whole entire 2018, especially these first 6 months. And so this is where we are in control of what is now coming through our heads, if you choose that. I love you guys too. And so, you know, right now, part of the mastering your mastery is literally, regardless of what is being presented, it could be the most horrific observation in your physical presence. It can seem horrific. And that is where you, as the soul, as the higher self that is now embodied, the vessel has now merged with the consciousness, rather than you having to be still, go into meditation to connect with your higher selves, to connect with your guides, to connect with your angels, to connect with us masters. Your vessel, your right and left brain, have already merged together, your consciousness and your vessel. And right now, the left and right brain are going through, or your vessel, your spacesuit, is merging with its new consciousness, its new programming, its new AI, whatever, motherboard, whatever label you need to give it. And so that is what is, you're trying to learn how to live again. You're trying to learn how to move forward, where you're going. This is where a lot of the confusion is. And really, it's not confusion, sweethearts. It's literally your consciousness has now merged with your brain, merged with your vessel. The right and left brains are learning how to dance together in the physical aspect of it. versus you having to still the vessel to hear the Spirit. It's not like that no more. Now your vessel is your consciousness, where before it was not. It was separated. And so that was, hold on a sec, I missed something that Kimmy said here. If I have a question for you is died, and therefore all these thoughts that are presenting itself, that's for you to ship. They're related to 10. Good morning, Harvey. Roberta, how are you doing? One foot in front of the other, awareness in motion, absolutely. That wasn't my question. I had extreme sensitivity to light and sound. Yes, Friday. How do I handle this, and why am I having it? Kelly, to answer your question, I had extreme sensitivity to light and sound. It's really helpful to know where the religious texts and everything else say, you know, the world was created in 7 days and God said, let there be light. That's what the total lunar eclipse was. Liken it to that. God said, let there be light. The collective conscious of the 144,000 and those of light workers and every way showers that are here, collectively, the frequency harmonics, so we have enough of us have raised their frequency to where the collective of us said, let there be light. And you're really going to find through the month of February, because on any Metatron's cube, on any grid, I made a post on this yesterday, any grid that you have, any cube, any square, any box, whatever you want to call it, has 4 sides. Those 4 sides make up a foundation. Now, all of this is the grid line in the ley line work, and in all of this that we have been doing for, really since 2012. Well, we've been doing it longer, but we're going to go from 2012, the end of 2012, for this purpose right now. And so you're going to find that in every given moment, you have 4 parallel universes that you exist or coexist in every moment. Because you have 4 sides to a Metatron's cube, which means there's 4 parallel universes that you are in, within 4 different dreams or realities, if you will. And a lot of this is what you're remembering in your dream time. So, as the world was created in 7 days, 6 days, and then you rested on the 7th. So, there's 4 weeks in February. The total lunar eclipse declared, let there be light. The next day, the solar Christ consciousness was rebirthed, resurrected on the physical plane of existence. And so now, in other words, all of us were fully plugged into the new Metatron's cube, the new 5D grid, whatever word you want to give it. In other words, your consciousness and your vessels were completely merged. Let there be light. And so this first week, 6 days, we're going to anchor this light into one side of the new 5D grid on the physical plane of existence. And then the second week of February, we'll do it on what is the opposite side. And then, the third week we'll do another side, and the fourth week we'll do the other. And by March 1st, which in the ancient texts many say is Jesus' true birthday, you're going to find that is where light will fully be felt, seen, heard by the full consciousness and avatar spacesuits that you're in, will be fully on the physical plane of existence. Now, what does that really mean? It means that your Merkaba vehicles are fully in activation. You're in full control of them now. Now, whether you're consciously or unconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly aware of that, that is your Merkaba vehicle is your light body. And this is everything that is being released. Casey, you can try friending me. I don't know if I'm still at 5,000 friends or not. And Facebook only allows 500, but you can try, sweetheart. John, I fall off the horse hourly. Oh, hell, I fall off the horse every breath I take. Excuse me. How you doing? LaJupo, Kelly, your ears are buzzing. A lot of you guys are finding where so much of the ringing and the pressure in your ears was on the right side, once in a while on the left side. These last couple of days and probably going into through the weekend, you're really going to feel it on the left side. Again, that's that harmonizing of that dance between the right and left brain. 144,000 is a metaphor for the number 9, which is completion. Yes, that's part of it, but there's a lot more deeper truth to that number than many realize. Victor, I would go within. I can't tell you what to do. Your spirit can reveal to you a lot more in depth as to what the 144,000 actually mean. It has to do with, the energy and vibration and frequency side of it. But then the 144,000 are the creator parent seeds that carry the original DNA of the hidden Jesus bloodline. And there is only 144,000 that carry that original seed. Now, the rest of the light workers beyond that 144,000 are all generational aspects of ourselves, the infinity sign. We are consistently regenerating ourselves through our children, through our grandchildren. They are just us. That's why in the physical, when you have what seemingly seems a parent dies or a family member dies, if you will, why within 1 or 2 years, either right before that person dies or within a year or so after that person has died, there's a new offspring birthed in the family somewhere, some way, somehow. Because our soul never dies. And so, a lot of times before we transition, the son's girlfriend or the daughter or the daughter-in-law, whatever it may be, a cousin, somebody is having a birth, giving birth in the family with the family DNA in one way or another. And that is why, and those are the fragmented parts or aspects of ourselves, and why it's so necessary for us to be in full acceptance of those who have chosen not to awaken, because they truly are aspects of ourselves, whether they're future generation or far, far future generations. It's always eternity within eternity within eternity. Kay says, here in Australia, we did a blood moon eclipse gathering ceremony to bring in the feminine energy. We did a blessing of our rose quartz and threw them into a lake. Oh, that's beautiful, Kay. Good morning, Betty. This full moon, it was really a beautiful, beautiful blessing to humanity. And as we continue to morph and light up this world, the more we stay centered in our hearts, the more we stay in a place of full acceptance. And this stuff comes up. Relationships are everything is built around relationships, created around relationships. And, these relationships that you have invested so much time in, that your soul, what seemingly seems your heart and soul convinced you was a twin flame, or was this or that, you're really finding that it was truly karmic relationships. And those karmic energies, those karmic ties, those karmic contracts, those karmic relationships, whether that's with your earth family, whether that's with a lover, a spouse, whatever it may be, are disintegrating, because we've moved into octave harmonic bandwidth out of karma. if you will. Now, for those who have chosen not to awaken, of course, they will continue in their soul's evolution in their karmic return, their karmic learning. And again, that's where there are aspects of us. We all share the same soul. There is only one soul. We're all fragments of it. Just in different avatars, different dimensions of each other. Where I come from 175 million years in the future, I also come from, beyond 10 billion years in the past. So, this is the stuff this is the perception that is changing. This is what this lunar eclipse really did for us in the alignment of the celestial events that took place, is those veils of non-remembering that. Those veils have been removed, and so your perceptions are changing. You're finding yourself, if you allow yourselves to observe the subtleties, you're going to find where maybe yesterday Joe pissed you off, or what he did, he has a mannerism or this, that, or the other that just irked you before. And you're going to find you run across Joe today and it's like, wow, he's nothing like I really thought he was. Because your perception has changed. And you're seeing a lot more, whether you realize your perception has changed or not, you're seeing a lot more where you're having those glimpses of aha moments, or you're having those glimpses where I could have swore I seen a being, or I could have swore I seen a spider and it's not there. That's because the illusion has gone away for you, and now you're seeing, if you will, through things easier. So if you try doing this, sweet ones, especially outside. This is really good if you can do it outside. And stare at the trees. And not even really focus on staring. Just allow yourself to just look around. And then you look at the trees and you allow your eyes to focus not on a tree trunk, but focus on the space in between the branches, and you will see the tree people. You will begin to see a depth perception that you weren't able to see when you just look at something. You can stare at the bookshelf. Well, I'll liken it to this. Here, I'll show you on my painting. This will actually be a better description. See how on a painting, you can paint something and it can just look like one color, right? But when you start adding different shades and stuff, it starts to take on a form where you can see a depth perception of this being closer to you and this being farther away from you, if you will. That's the perception that is changing. That is a depth now, if you will, that, thank you for the birthday wishes. Big hugs and blessings, Ro. And that's the perception that is changing. So many of you have felt that you've been dyslexic. Or have been told that you've been dyslexic. Or you feel like you couldn't grasp something, maybe. And that's because the depth perception had been limited, if not nullified, within your sight. Now, for the human vessel, your eyesight, everything has to be inverted through the optic nerve. That has been changed. That has been upgraded. And shiny, I see faces in the trees. That's the tree people. That is, you're going to see where some faces may look like what people label as aliens. You're going to see faces of your Arcturian families, your Syrian families, your Elven family, your fairies. I mean, you're seeing it more and more in everything. And that's because your original etheric, if you will, eyesight has been engaged. So your perception now has a depth to it that's giving you opportunity to see beyond, see through things now, if you will. And so with that, and the more that you can recognize, that's where a lot of this morphing comes in, this transformation as far as the physical plane of existence comes in. And the more you can allow yourself to become aware of it, to see those subtleties and recognize it and really train. And yes, this is part of the mastery. You remember it, but now you got to train your physical vessel, remember, because now you've merged them with your consciousness. You're no longer that personality identification of the old, of the 3D. You are now your higher self embodied. And so the more you can allow yourselves to train yourself to see through the new perception, the depth of everything now, the more consciously, in the awakened consciousness, you will anchor it in. And the more you do that, the more we do that, the more the physical, outside physical presentation will morph and transform. And that's really what this whole month of February is really about, is anchoring that new energetic soul template into the electromagnetic fields and the geomagnetic fields of the grid on the physical plane of existence. It's all been done etherically. It's all been done behind the scenes energetically. And so, thank you, Jamie. I thank you all for the birthday wishes. We all had a birthday yesterday. And my day was actually very quiet. I did probably 4 or 5 guidance calls that took up a majority of my day. I painted and I cleaned and I threw up a few times from all these light-encoded filaments. My day was very quiet. It was a very beautiful day. I had a lot of integration. My day was more emotional than it was anything. So I really kept to myself yesterday. When I get emotional like that, to many people it seems like I shut down or I tune everybody out, and really I stop myself from projecting. I don't want to come across, as I'm projecting something out. And when I get in that space within myself, from past experiences, it seems like, because I'm an Aquarius, I'm part Aquarius, and Aquarians, we hold that emotional non-attachment to many things, and so for me, it appears to others outside of me that I'm very cold-hearted and uncompassionate. So when I get into my own spaces of emotional spaces, when I'm purging or releasing, or awareness presents itself to me and I see my own delusion, if you will, I really step back. So I don't project that out, and I don't come across that way, because even if perception is our own, and we all know that, I say it all the time, it is our own, and it'll always be our own. And yes, we are concerned and we worry about what other people think about us. That's a human aspect in me. Really, I really don't. I really don't care what people think of me. But to the human side of us, we don't want to hurt people's feelings. We don't want to come across wrong. And so in that sense, people's perceptions really do touch our hearts, because that is where so much miscommunication takes place. We've been taught to watch people's faces. You can tell when people are lying, this, that, and the other. Well, that's no longer true, because everything has come into a space of harmonics and frequency and energy as far as the vessel goes now. So you really have to feel into it, because the outside physical presentation will always lead you wrong, including facial expressions, including this, that, and the other, because we've moved out of that duality frequency. But yet, still, so I had a very beautiful day, sweethearts. Very quiet, very emotional day of releasing for me. I had many of my own delusions revealed in this illusion. And, when it comes to our interpersonal relationships, it's never easy to face a truth like that. And so that is what is being presented. That will continue to be presented, whether it's within the governments, religions, cultures, countries, creeds, whatever beliefs, whatever it is, it's being revealed. And that's part of the blinders being taken off of the perceptual change in your perceptions that Let There Be Light has given this planet now. We have literally upgraded ourselves into a new harmonic frequency. With that, many will fall away. Many will appear to die, to transition to this, that, and the other. And it's not that they are dying, it's that they are transitioning. Especially those, to those of the lower frequencies, it will look like they have died a physical death. To those of higher frequencies, we're still going to be sitting here, standing here right next to them, hand in hand, and they'll still see us. Some will see us, some will not. And again, that's that separation of the two ships, of the two grids, of the two worlds. And so really the two harmonic frequencies, dimensional frequencies. I don't get any of this, but seem to be flowing right along anyways. Your soul gets it, John. Your soul gets it fully. Even if the mind hasn't caught up, the cosmic heart is guiding right now. Cosmic heart is leading us all. And there's no way around that anymore. And so, the outside world, until the human aspect harmonizes with that, with its new consciousness, if you will, its true consciousness, it's a dance. And the more you can just dance and flow and know that if you stay in a space of acceptance, if the outside world is showing you lack or struggle or a breakup in a relationship or this, that, and the other, just know. Accept it. And don't attach new emotions to it. Yes, it's we experience what we experience. We experience pain. We experience anguish. We experience this, that, and the other. But say yes to the experience. Yes to the acceptance of it. Rather than emotionally attaching, just be present with it. Yes, I accept this. Yes, I don't like it. Yes, my heart is hurting. Yes, my heart is in anguish. Wow. I felt pain in my heart when that person said that. Detach the blame. Detach the personality identification to the experience. And just be accepting of your feelings of the experience. This is your thoughts, because, the thoughts aren't true. They're just thoughts. And the only way anything can become true or real, if you will, what people think is true is really, well, this is real, not necessarily true. And it's when you attach thought to it. So if those thoughts are, you don't attach thought, which is judgment, opinion, reaction, to an experience, that experience will flow through you much more gracefully. It's only when you start attaching thought to things that now they become real. Now they become a belief. And the more you tell yourself that, that's just like with your twin flame relationships. The more you tell yourself that that person is your twin flame, the more you anchored that thought in, the more the physical outside world will give you presentations and synchronicities to continue for you to believe that your thought was real, that you have now turned into a belief. And that's the delusions that are being revealed right now. Is all of these things that you have convinced by thought to be true, to be real, are being revealed to you of being delusions and inside an illusion. And so this is where being gentle with yourself and really be accepting and forgiving comes in, because this is where, you hear these, what is that quote? Love is blind. Love is not blind. The thought is blind. The human mind is blind. The human mind will convince you of anything to be true when you attach thought to it. And the outside world will show that. Show you, because that's how the laws of the universe work. And so when you can master your thoughts, when you will find that you come into a space where you choose your realities. And that's what's happening right now. You are mastering your mastery to where you're no longer going to allow yourself or thought to create any more delusions for you. And that is a beautiful thing. That is being out of the wheel of karma. That is being out of that reincarnation wheel, if you will. And that's the perception that has changed now with the merging and the harmonizing of the right and left brain. You're out of that space of going to keep being unaware of those miscreational behavioral energetic pattern signatures. Now you're mastering those. And the more you come into acceptance of what you're experiencing and saying, this is just letting it go, you're emptying your cup for the new to come in. And that's where the morphing and transformation on this physical plane of existence will really come into to be now. John, I do know that y'all feel like my family. We are all family. It's all beautiful. And so, but on that note, I'm going back to painting. Have a magical, magical day, sweethearts. And no, you're not going crazy. You just merged yourselves. You just allowed your new perception, your true lens to be upgraded and to be enhanced. And so that which is being revealed, the truth of all things is being revealed. And so as you are presented with your own delusions of your own miscreation of illusion, if you will, that's being released, really be graceful with yourself and gentle and loving with yourself. Really pamper yourself through this, because as much as the outside physical world is morphing, so too is your physical vessels morphing and transforming into its original blueprint as well. Age reversal has been activated. And so, there's a lot going on right now. So really bathe in it and really love it all back to love, because truly it already is. So I love you guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. What's Kay saying? Very true on twin flame unions. Many are thinking they have a twin flame, but they haven't. And these people are going to let themselves down as they believe something they wanted And the delusion is that it's romantic so much. And that's very true. And you know, that's the clarity that's really coming in. And the seemingly heartbreak that is taking place is because those delusions are being presented to themselves. And, you know, and that's okay. That was all part of the soul's evolution. Everybody goes through it. And you know, everybody is at different stages. And those that are just coming awake, that's what we're here for. That's why we were the forerunners. That's why we're the way showers. We show them how to do it through us doing it, through us being it, through us living it. And even if they don't understand, you know, now you're going to find that which was within is now without, and that which was without is now within. And, you know, before you had your bubble just around your own physical vessel. And the spiritual journey is to expand your bubble out to include the earth, because the earth is inside. You are the earth. The earth is inside. Everything is inside within you. And so by expanding your light out, the more light you anchor in, it expands your light out, your energy field out, to include all things of the earth, rather than having yourself only in a bubble right around your spacesuit to where everything was outside of you. And that is what is occurring. Along your journey, you expanded yourself out, if you will. You expanded your circle out, your vessel out, whatever you want to call it, to include all things, no longer keeping yourself separated from that which you are. And so your tiny little bubble, circle within a bubble, now has become the whole bubble. You had to expand your bubble out to include all other bubbles which make up the one bubble. And that's what you've done. And so now your consciousness, which is the big bubble, is now in tune with the little bubble. The little bubble, you're not the little bubble anymore. Now you're the big whole completion of your bubble. And so those are the veils that have been removed. And that's the perception that has been changed now. No longer is the perception, well, on the physical plane it might be that way, but it's morphing. No longer is your perception so small and minute and limited. And so that's the perception of changing, and that's where the depth perception, or what is to the human is labeled depth perception, that's what has changed. And that is what is morphing, and the more you allow it to morph within your physical vessel, the more is revealed to you in the outside world. That's where the morphing and taking place is, because truly what you see with your physical eyes, sweethearts, outside is limited. So when I say morphing and transformation, and when other people say the clearing of the physical earth, or Jasara happened, or this, that, or the other, it's already happened. You have not met your frequency to it. And that's where this let there be light, this depth perception that has changed, now you're really going to see that expanded. Why some people say abundance and everything is already here. The government has already collapsed and been reset. Jasar and everything has already happened. That's why we say that, is because we've already merged with that bigger bubble. And others, everyone now is merging their consciousness with their wholeness, if you will, their completeness. And the more you embrace that wholeness and that completeness, the outside world has to match it and morph it and transform, or expand it. Or light expands condensedness. So, again, if you look through the trees instead of just at the trees, it's almost like a whole. That's why you see in so many of these fairy tales, you walk through the forest, at the end of the tunnel there's a light, or at the end of the forest, and it opens up to a great big whole new world. That is what is occurring on the physical plane of existence with your perception right now. And that's where you're seen through, because you guys have walked through the forest. You know, you've walked through the tunnel towards the light. The light has been given. The forest is now expanding out to where you can truly see that it wasn't just a bunch of trees, that there was a magnificent paradise on the other side. Now we have crossed the rainbow, if you will. Now the perception and depth perception and the consciousness of humanity no longer is the gold at the end of the rainbow just a myth, if you will. No longer are you having a foot in both worlds. You're having to walk across the rainbow, anchor it in, walk back across to this side of the rainbow, and then walk back. No longer do you need to be that rainbow bridge. Because now we've reached the pot of gold, if you will. We no longer need the bridge of the rainbow. Because we already are that which we already are and have always been. That's the consciousness, that's the depth perception that has been enhanced, if you will, with Let There Be Light at this total lunar eclipse we just went through. And that's a beautiful thing. That's truly a beautiful thing, because now the collective can bathe in the abundance, can bathe in the glory, can bathe in whether they're consciously or unconsciously aware of it. Enough of us have anchored the light into this planet to where it will benefit all, even those seemingly not awakened, even those seemingly of lower frequencies. You're still going to observe them. It's not running from the dark, it's embracing it. It's working with them side by side, hand in hand, and not letting their frequencies. That's part of your mastery. Not letting another's lower frequencies dictate your emotions. You can work with them, love them, have sex with them, whatever you choose to do. And they cannot bother you unless you choose to. It's not that the dark is what people label as the lower frequency to be the dark. It's not that those beings are, we live hand in hand, side by side. And when we talk about this separation of the frequencies, the separation of the worlds, this, that, and the other, again, those who have chosen not to awaken, like in the New Jerusalem, just like until you have woken on your spiritual journey, your ascended masters, your guides, and your spirit guides were 3 feet above you at all times. You just couldn't see them. That's what's going to happen with this separation of worlds. Those of us who have chosen to awaken, chosen to ascend. The New Jerusalem is right here. What appears to be right here. And so if you were standing outside looking in, you're going to have 2 planes of existence. Liken it like this. This plane up here is the 5D frequency, New Jerusalem. This plane down here is a 3D frequency. So those that have awakened that separation of worlds, these people that haven't awakened, they've chosen to keep the veil there. So what seems like we're dying physical deaths, really we're not. We're transitioning for those that have chosen to awaken. Some of us are going to go straight up here. Some of us are going to stay down here and be those pillars of light. But those of us that have chosen to strictly be on the new earth or above, or we're going to be those unseen ascended masters to those who have chosen not to awaken. That's the separation. They will still be veiled. We will not. But we can still work hand in hand, side by side with them. That's why your deceased loved ones are always around you in every given moment. However, for those that have chosen to awaken and ascend versus those who have not, we will still see them as if they are right here with us, but they will not be able to see us. So it's not that you run from the dark, sweet ones, you embrace it. Because all darkness is condensed light, lack of information. So when, those that are in a lower vibrational frequency, they've chosen not to awaken and ascend. When they pray, that's why, I swear you're in my mind. How did you know that? How many of you guys have had those experiences? Many of you have said that to me and others. I swear he's in my mind. Well, we are. It's not that we're in your mind, it's that we're right here beside you. Even though you can't see us, we can observe you. And so we're always helping you guys along the way, Even though you can't, well, I feel an energy around me. Well, I feel a whisper. Ooh, it feels like my mama's with me. Well, that's because we're always with you. You have just veiled yourself because of a frequency. And so that is the beauty of us. So nobody's being left behind. Just not everybody are going to be on the new 5-dimensional grid frequency. But yet, we're always going to be with them. They're just going to continue to be veiled, whereas we are not. And that's why, love everything and everyone. The perception is in the collective now to where your perceptions are going to be that where you're going to, instead of seeing the flaws in the human, you're going to see the divinity and the sovereignty and the purity and the holiness. Now, that's the perceptual change to the physical vessels that has taken place. And that is a beautiful thing. That is truly a beautiful, beautiful miracle we have been given on the physical plane of existence. So, really, embrace what seems to be emotional purging and know truly it's just your veils of delusion fallen away and is revealing to you the glory of all that you are. And when you can keep that thought mindset rather than attached to the thoughts of good, bad, of polarity, of incorrect, correct, light, dark, black, white, da-da-da-da-da, you will find that you will integrate this much quicker and much easier and with much more grace, sweet ones. Because truly, those delusions were just thought process that you had attached to just belief. And now you're being revealed truly to that which is true. And that's magical. I love you. Have a great weekend. Ground, 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 ground. Because the more you ground, the more you're transforming and morphing your own perception to truly see, be, and live and experience the higher dimensional frequencies of that which we truly are. It really begins and ends with you each, sweethearts. Because there's nothing separating us but you. Your own perceptions, your own beliefs. And that's what's falling away to reveal to you truly the heavenly realms of paradise. That which you were not able to see because your depth perception had been nullified or limited. And your depth perception has been returned to your vessels. Have a great day, sweethearts. I love you. Big, big, big hugs and blessings. Rejoice. Celebrate. We're home. And now it's going to show that we've always been home on the physical plane of existence. Have a great day, sweethearts. Bye-bye now.